up, you guys? Welcome to the January 27th edition of NBA 3-Ball, presented by Establish the Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher, getting ready to break down a really light 3-game slate today. Lots of news to talk about, so we will do it in 10 minutes as usual. Hit the thumbs up for us, please, and subscribe. And we're going to start off with the rough news of the day, and it's kind of a surprising bit of news with Wendell Carter Jr. is going to miss 4 weeks with a severe right quad contusion. Don't usually see contusions lasting that long. We've seen him being listed as doubtful for the last half week or so, and yeah, they're going to rule him out. They said that he's in such bad shape, he can't even condition right now. So 4 weeks at least. I mean, season long, you probably got to come if you have no IR spot. It's tough, and was off to a slow start, was rounding the corner. It's just, tough for a guy that had a lot of high hopes, myself included, in the Bulls. They saw Daniel Gafford start, but he was just shredded in 11 minutes, couldn't even get back on the court, and that lineup has been pretty bad. The Gafford lineup hasn't been used at all up until recently, and it's actually the third worst lineup in the NBA among 145 lineups for net rating, 128 in D rating, and then bad offense as well in 25 minutes. It's pretty rough. So Gafford, probably not the guy that's going to be relied on. Even after the news came out, Billy Donovan said it'll kind of be by committee. We've seen a ton of this Thaddeus Young, Markkanen, power forward center combo. It's been 59 minutes so far. I've talked a lot about how Markkanen has been better as a center, so his upside's a little bit higher, despite how he hasn't really been productive yet, especially in the rebounding statistics. And Thad's actually been really productive as a power forward / center. Also has really been almost a backup center. He plays minutes at center without Markkanen next to him. And in the power forward center minutes in 59-minute sample, he's 12, 8, and 10 with 2.4 steals. We know Thad can steal. He's a pretty good field goal guy. And Billy Donovan likes his bigs to create offense as much as he's asking Levine to produce. I think that Thad's the guy you want to add, assuming Otto Porter's gone. And I mean, Patrick Williams has a higher upside now. He's still not playing great, but this will maybe help get him going because obviously playing Markkanen more at the 5 will open him up. So, we'll see what happens. I mentioned that Thad Markkanen lineup. That's been pretty bad too. It's minus 33 in 18 minutes with Levine, Patty Will, and Kobe White. So Kobe White really has to step it up as a side note. He hasn't been playing well at all. Levine's been just thriving, and he's actually increased his effective field goal percentage on jumpers in each of the last 4 seasons significantly. He's up to almost 57% this year. So a lot on his plate. Bulls are going to have to weather the storm and figure it out here. Hopefully Gafford can maybe find minutes in the teens, but like I said, Thad's going to be the guy I expect to step up the most. You got some good news in Indiana with Domantas Sabonis is day-to-day with a bone bruise to his knee. He did have pain after the game. Questionable to play today against the Hornets. Probably call him a little bit doubtful because of pain after knee-to-knee contact with Kyle Lowry. You would think that he's probably going to miss the game. But again, it's only day-to-day. Hopefully he's back by the weekend, worst case. That obviously means Miles Turner, he was fantastic. We saw what he did in the bubble. Last year, per 36 without Sabonis, he was 21, 10, and 2. This year with Brogdon and without Turner, he's 11 rebounds, 19 points, and 5 blocks per 36, 79-minute sample. Brogdon's actually hasn't seen a big usage boost, but he's been really efficient. That's partly because he just played so lights out in that Raptors game. So he actually isn't really a big winner. We'll see a little bit more Doug McDermott. We saw Jeremy Lamb start at the 3, and he's played really well. I think Jeremy Lamb's the guy you want to add. I imagine he's not available in any legit league, but if your league's shallow, expect him. Justin Holiday's played really, really well. Probably see a little bit more Aaron Holiday. I think Doug McDermott, as far as competitive leagues go, a guy that was pretty much turning into a drop, he's back to being an ad. Just from a matchup standpoint, I like Brogdon most nights, but the Hornets have actually been awesome. They're actually the best pick-and-roll ball handler defense in the league at .69 points per possession. Fantastic defense from them. They really prioritize guarding the paint with perimeter guys, and they're actually allowing the second most wide-open 3. So this could be a sneaky game for your Justin Holidays, your McDermott's, if Sabonis is out. And even Turner could probably shoot a lot of threes because they really protect the paint. So something to keep an eye on if you're playing DFS. The Mavs also get some good news with 3 guys expected to return from their absence for COVID-19. They reportedly did test positive. That's Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dwight Powell. Makisupa not expected to play yet. Still has not been cleared as of Tuesday. Dorian Finney-Smith said he had kind of a almost bad cold symptoms, so he had some symptoms here. We saw Josh Richardson had to get quarantined in Denver. Finally made it back into Dallas last week. Finney Smith was saying he'll kind of play anywhere between, he was kind of spitballing, 15 to 30 minutes, pretty much throw that out the window. You got to expect these guys are limited, but obviously returning Josh Richardson, who had a pretty good rapport with Luka, especially in the preseason, kind of off to a cold start. He'll certainly cut into Jalen Brunson. Dorian Finney-Smith will cut into your Josh Greens and all these guys that have kind of been the patchworking their way to filling minutes. Dwight Powell probably not going to be a big factor now that Porzingis is back, and you would expect them to not play Willie Cauley-Stein, even though they're going against Rudy Gobert. They did play Cauley-Stein, who's been pretty good against Jokic overall. So expect a lot of smaller lineups. Obviously, James Johnson's also a little bit of a loser here. He's played great lately, but the Mavs are finally getting guys back. And then lastly, on the news section, going to Phoenix, and mentioned on Monday's 3-ball that I thought Devin Booker was going to miss time because that hamstring, he pulled it a couple times a couple years ago, missed 6 games the last time he pulled that hamstring. So not surprising, even with all this time off, he's going to miss a game. Gets ruled out a day early, so I would anticipate he misses another game. And we saw them start Cam Johnson next to Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges, obviously Chris Paul at the point, and DeAndre Ayton. That lineup was awesome defensively. They had a 67.5 defensive rating in 19 minutes, including 58.6 in 14 minutes against the frickin' Nuggets. So they're going to play some really tough defense. Obviously, you're going to see more on the plate for Mikal. Monty Williams said it's going to be Chris Paul and then by committee to handle the ball. So you'll see a little bit of Cameron Payne. All these guys kind of figure it out. But certainly Mikal is a guy that I would look at to take a big step forward after we saw what he did in the bubble and early on in the season. 6 teams to talk about in the basketball action. Let's start with the shorthanded Clippers, who did not have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for protocol reasons, and Patrick Beverley also didn't play, which put 3 new starters, Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann technically started at point guard, and Luke Kennard on the wing. Interestingly, it was Reggie Jackson who only had a quick sub in the first quarter. He was basically the backup point guard, and he really cleaned up with the backups too. So great to see that. We saw a little bit of overlap with Marcus Morris, with Nick Batum. Terrence Mann, great rebounding guy, great hustle stat guy. We saw him play a little bit on point and handle the ball. Got tucked up after the game. Reggie Jackson said that Terrence Mann's play was spectacular. And then also of note, Lou Williams after the game didn't play well again. And he said that he's, quote, still trying to find his rhythm, according to Tyronn Lue. So we saw him miss time with hip discomfort. Going to still be limited. I didn't think Nick Batum played really well. And he continues to kind of be hit or miss. He's been valuable for fantasy. Obviously, more usage for Zubats and Serge. Because you're taking Paul George and Kawhi out. There's going to be shots to go around. So expect a pretty similar plan. But yeah, Reggie Jackson being kind of the backup point guard on top of starting and getting so much more time with a limited Lou Williams puts him in a pretty good spot. Not much to say on the Hawks. No Cam Reddish again with Achilles injuries. He's having a really tough season. Trae Young returned, looked great. And he's found his shot. He started out the season ice cold, ice Trae. He's only shooting the teens on wide open threes. Now he's shooting 65% in his previous 7 games on 23 attempts. So he's found it. Not that anybody should have been concerned. Capella, great. John Collins had a career high in threes in the last game, career high in blocks this game. He's really found his groove. Probably going to be tough to sustain it because his shot types and shot selection isn't quite the same with Capella clogging up the paint. But certainly great to see after a slow start. To the Wizards, they dropped it again. Can't win games with Westbrook. Westbrook's leading the NBA in potential assists. He's been productive as a stat producer, but he's just not playing well. After the game, Brooks says he's still kind of working his way back, taking the right steps, getting better. Saw him get to the line a little bit, missed shots. He's better shot selection-wise, but got to expect him to sit today. Bradley Beal, you've probably seen on Twitter of him being dejected on the bench, so I'm sure the trade rumors are going to start swirling, and it's justified. I mean, Bradley Beal's really good. And he hasn't quite been himself, taking a lot of shots that are tough. So he's actually been playing kind of above what his shot expectation is. That's just because Bradley Beal's so freaking good. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this team on a back-to-back against the Pelicans. The Pelicans better win. John Wall revenge game. We found out after the game he had a 20-minute limit, and he negotiated an additional 5 minutes to get him to 24 minutes. Chucked. Really big time. Had a little bit of a argument with Russell Westbrook. Victor Oladipo saw the ball come out of his hands a lot. Wasn't distributing nearly as much as expected. Eric Gordon big off the bench. David Nwaba really productive in limited time. Certainly can't buy that. He's been tremendous if you picked him up about a week and a half ago or so. But yeah, Jason Tate lost a little bit of his mojo, and that's going to happen now that the Rockets have some of their guys back. And DeMarcus Cousins, man, this guy produces, and we know that. So hopefully he can find more time with Wood when he gets back. The Jazz beat the Knicks. The Jazz are probably the most boring team in fantasy. They're really predictable, but moving to the Knicks. Austin Rivers hit his first 10 shots, was just on fire in the first half for 25 points. Didn't do anything after that. Emmanuel quickly didn't have it. His minutes were actually still pretty good. 1 minute of garbage time, just shot the ball terribly, and actually he wasn't really affected by Rivers playing well. Alfred Payton didn't play well. We saw a little bit of the Rivers, Burks backcourt to kind of close it out. So yeah, I still think Quickly's pretty safe. He's a rookie. He's going to play poorly. Not a great matchup against the Jazz. Yeah, so it is what it is. So that's going to do it. You guys take care. Catch you tomorrow.